In this video, I'll be talking about UV, which is a Python project management built using Rust. I'll show you how you can create a UV project, how you can install libraries on your UV project, how you can install Python versions and manage them. I'll show you how UV can become your one tool for all your Python projects. So this video is going to be a little bit on the longer side, but I would encourage you to watch it entirely so that you know what are the UV commands that you will be using and what I use for most of the time. So hey guys, this is Vishwajit. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So let's get started. So first of all, I will directly go into the documentation. Okay, so we'll be installing UV first. So just go into Google and type UV Astral, and this is the UV docs. Okay, so you can see, so UV is an extremely fast Python package and project manager, and it's written in Rust, and it is extremely fast. So first section, I won't explain you a lot. I'll show you how generally we set up a Python project using venv versus how we do using UV. So I won't explain you the commands. I'll directly go and set up an environment and I'll show you. Okay. So maybe we'll open one terminal, okay, over here, and we'll open another terminal over here. Okay, great. So the first thing is we need to install UV. So you can see installation over here, and I mean, if we go to installation, so this is the Mac OS and Linux for, I mean, the command for Mac OS and Linux, and this is for Windows. Okay, so I believe if you are watching this particular tutorial, you know how to install this. So generally, I'm on Windows, but I am using git bash on Windows. Okay, so curl is going to work just fine for me, so I can just use this particular command to download it. Okay, so you can go ahead and use this particular PowerShell command, okay, if you want, but I'll be using this particular curl command. Okay, great. So first thing is I will install UV. UV is already present in my system. Okay, so it will work, but it will show that it is already present. Okay, it's installing. Fine, not a problem. So UV is now installed. It's now set up. Now I'll show you what's the difference between UV and venv and how UV can fasten things up so much. So let's suppose generally in a typical Python like project, what we generally do, we first create the Python project, we create the virtual environment, install the libraries. Okay, so I'll do that. So generally what we will do is mkdir Python venv project. Okay, so it will create a folder called as Python venv project in the desktop. Let me show it. Python venv project in the desktop. Okay, now what we will do is we'll go inside this particular project, Python venv project, right, and we will be getting our virtual environment set up. So I'll just create a virtual environment first. Python -m venv.venv. So this is the name of the virtual environment that I gave. You can give anything. So for people who don't know what's a virtual environment, so virtual environment is particularly a location where all your libraries, your packages will be installed, okay, particular to that project. So generally, it's a good practice to create virtual environment for all of your Python projects. So let's suppose if I create one project, for that I need maybe the Flask libraries. Okay, so I'll install Flask on that particular project. So if I have, let's suppose, 5 projects, one project is targeted towards web development. Maybe for that I'll get Flask. For the second project is targeted towards data science. Okay, maybe I'll get pandas, I'll get C1. Maybe third project is for maybe data engineering. Maybe I'll get PySpark, those libraries. So different project has different requirements, and you need different libraries for them, right? So you don't want all the libraries to be present in your in all the project, right? Like maybe you are using 4 libraries, but you have maybe 40 installed, right? We don't want that to happen. So generally, this is the main reason why we create a virtual environment. Okay, so to make sure that our project only uses requirements that are installed in that particular project. So generally, this is the way how we create a virtual environment. So we use python -venv.venv, and now what we will do is we'll activate the environment source .venv script activate, and you can see the virtual environment is activated. And how we know it? We know it because of this .venv, right? So now we know it's activated. Now if I do pip list, so you can see nothing is installed. It's clean. Only pip 25.3 version is present. Okay, we separated our global Python packages from this particular virtual environment. So if I just do pip list over here, just to show you what is present in my global Python. So you can see these are the packages that are installed in my global Python. Okay, like globally it is installed, but I don't need so many packages in my this particular project. Okay, so I don't want to go into depth. Okay, I already explained this, but yeah, I explained why we create a virtual environment. If you want more, you can go and watch the virtual environment video that I have created. So now the next thing that we will be doing is we will be installing a package. Maybe we will be installing pandas. Okay, over here. So if I install pandas over here, you can see it's collecting pandas, getting all the dependent libraries, which is numpy, then python datautil, okay, numpy, python datautil, then tz data. Like what are the dependent packages that pandas require to run? Okay, so now it is done. It has successfully installed numpy, pandas, okay, datautil. It has installed all of this. Okay, so how we can verify it? We can do pip list, and you can see numpy, pandas, numpy, pandas, python datautil, all those are present. But if I just do pip list over here, this is my global Python installation, and you can see pandas are not present over here. Pandas, numpy, then python datautil are not present over here. So this is a global Python environment. Okay. Anyways, so pip list is showing us this. Okay. Now if you see the commands that we run, we created the particular Python project. We got inside the particular project. We created the virtual environment. We activated the environment, and we installed pandas. That's all we did. That's all we generally do while working with venv. Okay. Now let's suppose if I use uv. So what I will do is uv init python uv project. That's all. So if I just go cd python uv project, and if I just do an ls, you can see it has already created main.py, pyproject.toml, readme. Okay. Now if I want to install a library, what I need to do? uv add pandas. That's all. Done. Like a flash, it was done. You can see the time taken for it to resolve and it to install. It is that fast. And only in few commands I was able to do it. Only in few commands. Okay. So I just initialized the project, got inside the project. I just added pandas. That's all. That's all. And I would say if you keep using UV, you will get to know more about it, like how fast it is, okay, and how easy it is to maintain your Python projects. Okay, so generally I'll close this window. I'll close both of them. So these are the projects that we created: Python venv project and Python uv project. And if I go inside this particular folder, and you can see that it has created these files. Okay, so let's go from first. Generally, I'll delete these directories. I just wanted to show you the difference between venv and uv. And VNV is generally used for creating virtual environments, and you can use UV for not only maintaining virtual environments but also maintaining Python versions and other tools that UV supports, like rough formatter. Okay, and I will delete this. I'll start from first. Okay, so I'll show you all the commands that I use on a day-to-day basis. Okay, in UV. So once I switched to UV, I just keep on using UV, and I would highly encourage you to do that. So let's suppose the first command that I will show you, which I've already showed you, is how to create a environment. I mean, how to create a project. Okay, so you don't have to manage environments, by the way. So if I just do UV init Python UV Python UV project, and that's all. That's all you need. Okay, I will open this using VS Code, maybe open with code. So you can see I just ran this particular command and it installed gitignore. It installed Python version. I mean, not install, I mean, it generated the gitignore file. It generated the Python version. It generated the main.py and the pyproject.toml and the readme file. Okay. Now here, one thing you need to keep in mind, your pyproject.toml is actually a very important file. Okay. This is what you will looks at any point in time. If you want to update your packages, remove your packages, generally this is the file UV will be looking at. Okay, so if I close this terminal, I don't need it because we already have a terminal in VS Code. So if I just come over here and if I say I want to add a new package, maybe Seaborn. So if you don't know about Seaborn, Seaborn is another visualization library that is built on top of matplotlib. Okay, so if I just do UV add Seaborn, you can see it is first of all resolving like which versions are compatible, and it is downloading that, and you can see it installed matplotlib, and you can see it has installed 14 packages. Okay, so you can see here automatically it updated that dependencies part. Okay, dependencies list, and it is saying, okay, we need, this is the Seaborn version that is needed, greater than equal to 0.13.2. Okay, isn't it cool? Like automatically it is updating what are the dependencies that you need. And not only that, so this particular dependency part, it says that, okay, you need Seaborn version 0.13.2. Okay, but it doesn't say exactly which version is currently installed. Okay, and we can check that using UV pip list. As you can see, I don't have my environment activated. All the packages are installed in the virtual environment that UV has already created. So you can see there is this virtual environment that UV created when we installed Seaborn. Okay, so when we installed Seaborn, it created the virtual environment folder and it created the uv.lock file. Okay, so you don't have to activate the environment, and trust me, it's very time saving, and sometimes it becomes painful even to activate the environments and sometimes. So VS Code offers auto activated environments, but trust me, in some scenarios you would love to use UV. Here you don't have to activate any environment. So if I just do UV pip list, okay, you can see this is the Seaborn version that is installed, which is 0.13.2. Okay, great, good. But you can see there are other dependencies that are also present, right? And there is another file, which is the uv.lock file. So uv.lock file is another important file where all the dependencies, all the dependent dependencies, or I should say the transitive dependencies, everything will be present over here. Like all of it. You can see cycler, font tools, okay, NumPy, Then okay, Cycler, Font to NumPy, Kiwi Solver, Matplotlib. Okay, so you can see the uv.lock file contains all the information about your installed dependencies. Okay, pyproject.toml file that says, okay, this is the Seaborn version I need, I mean greater than equal to 0.13.2. But what is actually installed is set by the uv.lock file. So you can see it contains all the details, all the metadata that is needed for your UV. Okay, so all the things, like all the transit dependencies, everything is present over here. This is the log file. This is the actual install libraries that are like actual libraries that are installed. Okay, so generally the UV log file is used in many cases, and if you are just starting with Python, you might not be having much ideas, but uv.log file exactly says that what is installed. Okay, and maybe let's suppose if I having maybe a different versions of packages installed, and if I just share this entire project. Okay, if I just share the entire project along with the uv.log file, and if I download all the packages in that particular machine, UV will look into the uv.log file, and it will install this specific versions. Okay, so you can see versions are not locked over here, pyproject.toml. Okay, but they are locked over here. Here is the exact version log that is present. Okay, so this is why the log file is important. Since the video is too long, I have broken the videos into multiple parts. So I'll be having the other parts uploaded in the same playlist. So also one more thing. So I will be also providing the documentation that you see in the screen into the description part, and also maybe in the comments. So don't forget to check that out. All the details, all the commands are present, and there will be few more commands that I have also added, and I think it's good that you can take a look into it. And I'll also add the documentation for Astral and the UV documentation, so you can easily take a look, and you can also take a look into all the other tools that Astral provides, like rough. So that's it for this video, and I'll see you in the next awesome upcoming video.